Hi, I'm Zach Miller. I'm the head of communications for Minitex, which is a division of the University of Minnesota Libraries, presenting Read This Book, usually hosted by Lisa von Drasek.
And I'm Lisa von Drasek, and I am the curator of the Children's Literature Research Collections of the University of Minnesota. And I'm so glad you're here to talk with me about the books that I brought.
Yeah, I'm excited to learn about these books a little bit. How about we start with this one that's displayed so nicely on the table?
We could start with that, but I'm not gonna.
Okay, I'll put it back.
I'm gonna start with, do you know Scott McCloud?
I don't.
Oh my God!
I need to know.
You need to know. Scott McCloud. Okay, so once upon a time when I was a children's librarian in New York City, and I was at a fancy dinner at Hyperion, and there at the table was Mo Willems, who is like the best illustrator writer, especially for emergent readers. And I don't let an opportunity pass, and I say, Mo, can you come to my school and talk about comic format? And he said, I will, Lisa, but first I need you to read Scott McCloud's book, Understanding Comics. And I read Scott McCloud's book, Understanding Comics, and I went, I don't need Mo. And he was right, because what I needed to do was to convince teachers that comics were fabulous and so worthy of children's time in writing and literacy and reading.
It sounds like we should all read this book.
So we should all read. I saw what you did there. We should all read Understanding Comics. But recently, Scott McCloud has a book called Making Comics. So of course, anything by Scott McCloud I have to read. And it's about creating comics, but it really is very adult. Just see. So you now can do all of your procedure manuals and make them in comic format. Wouldn't that be great?
That would be great. Fun for the reader and effective at communicating the information.
Publicity releases, comic format. You can do that. So hold on to that. My other favorite series of books is Toon Books, which are for emergent readers. The Great Artists. So here's the paperback. Here's the hardcover. You can get them in both. So I'm sure Minitex would be interlibrary loan hardcovers.
Definitely.
And Ivan Brunetti. So he's a great artist. He's a great comic book artist. He has lots of books. But when this came out in 2019, How to Make Your Own, this is the one. This is a successor to all the fabulous drawing books that you know by people like Christopher Hart. And so I got so excited, and I started to learn how to draw comics from this very simple Toon book.
Well, I love that idea so much, because what I really enjoy about reading graphic novels and comics is the incredible variety of drawing styles that the authors come with. Because you don't have to be able to draw a perfect still life of a scene in order to write a really beautiful comic book. You just have to have your own style and embrace it and do it. And we need to lower the barriers for people to actually get that done, because they can do it.
So comics, as easy as ABC, an essential guide to comics for kids, is actually for all ages. So it's a wintry day, it's a Sunday afternoon, and a kid says, I'm bored. Flare markers and a composition notebook. Do you know Lynda Barry?
I don't know Lynda Barry either.
Oh my! She just got one of those genius grants for her research in how we learn and how we lose the ability to draw. We knew how to draw. Writing and drawing were integral to our lives as 4-year-olds. And then by the time we're 7, we can't draw, we can't write, we can't do this, we can't do that. And I love this book. And I was afraid that if I read Making Comics by Lynda Barry, she would say that I need to draw in my own style. It's just what you were saying. And I need to learn to find this, and I need to do that. And that maybe she didn't like that he was teaching me how to draw. And there I was reading this book. May I read a little of this to you?
Oh yeah.
It's wonderful. It has how to start drawing, how to start finding your inner artist, how exercises to do. And if you're having a little trouble drawing people, she suggests, and I wish I had tagged the page, that she suggests there's no right way. I'm going to do this. And she talks about how to begin your work. How to begin your work in practice. So you could do this an hour a day and start making comics with your composition notebook, which I did. So that's my commitment this year, is to start really doing comics.
I love your cover.
And I'm going to be doing my academic writing in comic format.
Oh my gosh, you're going to reach entirely new audiences.
I am, but wait for it. She says on page 39, cartoonist Ivan Brunetti identifies a different way of drawing, a simple character that is especially useful for those who need a way to begin. And I needed a way to begin, and the way I began was with comics, easy as ABC.
Thank you so much.